Hi everyone, this week we're going to be drawing a mouth. I'm just going to go through some of the things that you need to consider when you're doing this task. So the first thing is actually drawing out the initial shape, and I've got two methods here of how you could do this. So one's with shapes and one's with circles. So let's start off with the shapes. In the middle, you need to start off with an upside down sort of curved triangle. Then you've got these sort of isosceles curved triangles almost. So that's going to be as symmetrical as you can get it. Then you've got these shapes down here that look a little bit like this, and because the bottom lip is always bigger, they need to be a little bit thicker there than that top section. And then again with the symmetry like that. Okay, so once you've drawn out those basic shapes, then you can use those as a guide to draw your lip outline. So you want to go in between shapes there in the middle, that centre line, and then you're going to curve it around and up, and then here you're going to add in the Cupid's bow there. Bring that line back down, and then for this bottom shape you've got two diagonal lines like that, and then it flattens off at the bottom. And then once you rub out the guidelines, you've got basic lip shape that you can use to add tone to. Okay, so that's the first shape. And then the second one is with circles. So you've got these 5 circles here. So first of all, you just want to draw a lightly sketched guide. Then you're going to have the middle circle here. It just goes over the line there, and then 2 circles above that are attached, and then 2. So those are almost like Mickey Mouse ears for that big circle, and then these ones are directly below and then more in the middle. Again, this is going to be used as a guide, so they need to be sketched, and then you're going to draw around the shape. So that's the top section, and then those go up there, the Cupid's bow, and then down, and then you want these 2 lines here going diagonally down, and then use the bottom of those circles for this flat section. But as I said before, like these 2 lips are different thicknesses. The bottom one needs to be thicker than the top one, so if you need to adapt your shape in any way, that is fine. And then you're just going to rub out the guides to reveal your lip shape that you can then add tone to. Obviously, all lips are different shapes, so use an image to help you, but this is just one way of getting the initial shape in front of you without any real struggle. So those are 2 methods to help you. Then you've got some other things to consider. Okay, so hopefully you've all heard of a contour. So the contour is the direction of the shape, and we need to consider this when we're applying tone to help our drawings look more 3D. So when I'm applying tone, I'm going to be following the direction of the contours of the shape to make it look more 3D and make the lips look curved. Just like we did with the eyes. So remember when we did the eyelashes, we followed the curve of the eyelash, didn't just draw straight lines. Sort of similar to that. You want to make sure you're following the contours of the line. So this little sketch here just shows you the direction of those contours. So that's one thing that you need to consider when you're applying tone. The other thing is with the placement of the tones and the shadows and the highlights within the image. So if I was going to apply tone to this image here, you've got this like little dip almost in the top lip. You need to follow those contours. So I'll just lightly add in a guide of where the contours are on that lip to help me when I apply the tone. So you want to make sure you follow those contours. The top lip is always in shadow, so I'm going to add that in. I'm also, just before we get started, I'm going to add in the skin tone around it. So top lip is always a little bit darker. Then you've got some shadow from the top lip onto the bottom lip. And also, because like we talked about last week with the cylinder, where the darkest parts are, they are the furthest away from you. And then the lightest parts are the sections that are closest to you. So it's almost like the opposite with the lips because they go inwards. So you're going to have the darkest section, which is the centre of the lips. And then you're going to blend that tone outwards to make it look like that bit is further away and that these bits are closer to you. And then again, these bits are a little bit further away at the bottom, but they're not as far away as the centre of the lips. Okay, so now I'm going to add in some of the tone, following the contours. So as I said, it's going to be darker in the centre and then lighter in the middle of each lip. And what is also really important to remember is that whenever we're drawing a face, there are no lines on the actual face except for like wrinkles. So the actual outline of the lip you don't want to see. You only want to be drawing using shadows and highlights. So I just get rid of that outline and add in a bit of a background tone. It gets rid of those really harsh lines. And then you can start to really look at the image in front of you and see that below the bottom lip is a shadow till we get to the chin. And then at the top of the lip is actually a highlight. I've got this finer rubber, so I'm just going to get rid of that line even more, and then add back in the lip tone, but keep the highlight at the top. So So now I'm sort of going back over that outline, but not with any sharp line, just using tone. And I can build that up as slowly or as quickly as you want. Slow the better. Okay, ish. Darken the centre. Okay, and then if you watch the time-lapse video that I've done as well, I've also added in some of the detail. So some of the creases on the lips. The bottom lips tend to be more creased, but on the video I've done them quite dark, so I didn't know how they were going to come up on the when they were being recorded. Okay, so the top lip's something like that. And then also, if you don't have this bit here, you could start to add in like the background around it. So the lips, the tone, and here I'm following the contour of the shape because this part of our mouth goes upwards, down, and then back down. So you want to make sure you're following all of the contours of the face wherever you're applying tone. That's a bit dark. Okay. Then on the bottom lip, you're going to add in the tone with the contour. And you might notice on the picture that you're using, say if the light was coming from here, you'd normally have a highlight here, so you want to make sure that you keep that in your image. And you also, once I've added in these initial bits of tone, want to make sure that your lips are darker than your skin tone, because obviously they have pigment in, but we're just drawing in black and white. So anywhere that you have pigment is going to be darker. What I suggest you do is, if you are using a coloured image, what you could do is just edit it so that it is black and white to help you see where the tones are. It's all about observation, so make sure you keep looking back at your image that you're using. Also got this crease in the centre of our lip that you might want to add in as well. And then once I've sort of placed the tones where I want them to go, then I would go over that and just make it a little bit darker all over. Okay, so something a little bit like that. So here is what I did earlier. So here I've just pointed out some of the key things to remember when you are drawing your lips. So remember to have a highlight at the top of the lips, to not be keeping that outline in your drawing. Try to rub it out first, use it as a guide, and then be applying the tone so that it doesn't stand out in your drawing. The top lip is in shadow from the rest of your face, and then there's a darker tone towards the centre, and then there's a little bit of a shadow placed on that bottom lip as well. So hopefully those little bits of tips and tricks help you when you're creating your drawing. Go and have a look at the time lapse of the larger drawing that I did. Got that here actually, let me just show you. So that is this piece of work, and I spent much longer on this. I also added in some highlights using a rubber. I've got this electric rubber, but you can just use a normal rubber or cut a little bit off of your normal rubber just to get that finer point. I've also added in a lot more detail and texture, so all of these little creases within the image that I worked from. I've also used a blending stump to get the softness of the skin tone. So if you have a cotton bud or something like that, then maybe you could just smooth out the skin tone around your drawing, and then that should make your lips stand out a little bit more. Hopefully that was really helpful for you. I can't wait to see all of your amazing work. Yeah, have fun. Bye.